I have no idea what's going on in the engineering manufacturing job market, but I had another recruiter reach out to me on LinkedIn asking me to apply for a role. And of course, I applied and I'm going to tell you about it. So, previously, you've watched my other videos, I got offered a job for an aerospace company. And eventually, I turned it down because it just wasn't worth the money and it wasn't worth the move. It was pretty much the same amount of money. But recently, everyone's favorite private space company, a recruiter reached out to me on LinkedIn and says, "Hey, Kay, do you want to come work for this company? It's for a really cool industrial engineering role that's focused on warehouse and like distribution center optimization, which is really what I'm interested in. Is like everything from receiving material in to delivering it to inventory to delivering it to the manufacturing lines and then getting the finished product out of the door. I really find that interesting and like really figuring out how we can do all of the rigorous procedural like 100% accurate steps while also being as streamlined as possible. And I also love the aspect of materials where and warehouse management to where it can literally be applied anywhere. It doesn't matter if you're doing books, toilets, or high tech missile launchers. Like it really doesn't matter. Everywhere you go, you're going to be buying product, receiving product, making, uh, adding some value to that raw material, and then having a finished product that you're shipping out to a customer. It doesn't matter what you're making. So I think that ability to really understand how warehouse and inventory management works and material movement works, you can like literally write your ticket and work anywhere. So this industrial engineer role, super cool. The recruiter reached out to me and said, "Hey, will you apply for this role?" And I was like, I really like my job, so I actually ghosted him. And then he texted me a little bit while later, reminding me to apply. And I guess I was feeling a little bit in a better mood, so I actually just hit apply. It was actually really easy to apply to one of those jobs, and he was so great. He I don't know, perfectly picked me out for the role because it was definitely the like exact job description of something I'd want. And then I hopped on a call with him like that next couple days, and it went really well. I went into it with like absolutely no preparation, and he still really enjoyed me, really liked me. He just said, "I really need to clean up my communication for the next interviews, and I need to do some research on the private space company because I need to know a little bit about this stuff whenever you're going into it." And I just wasn't taking it very seriously because I kind of went into it with the mindset of nothing to lose. And I think that makes you really confident and really good as a candidate when you kind of go in with that mindset, but balance it out better than I did if you're actually looking for a job and know that you should study up on the company before you go into the interview process. So before I get into the next interviews that I had with this space company, I kind of want to talk about like why I think I get reached out to for these experiences. And I think two big reasons are because number one, I had good grades in college, and number two, I had leadership experience being the captain of an engineering design team. I was the student steel bridge captain at my university, and I had a lot of just hands-on experience doing stuff with that. But I do think the number one experience, in all honesty, even if it's what I don't think my best experience is, it's for interning in college at Lockheed Martin, just because that's just such a huge name, and because it's just like so well respected in kind of like the manufacturing world. And if you can like work in aerospace, it kind of you can pretty much work anywhere, even if it was just a summer internship. I think companies still see that whenever you're getting hired for full-time roles. Like I've had interviews where they ask me to talk about my experience, and I talk for like 10 minutes about the current role that I'm in, which I've had like an exceptional experience with and have got a lot of knowledge and stuff from. And then they're like, "Oh yeah, but tell me about your Lockheed Martin internship." I'm like, "Why are we even talking about that? Like I was an intern, I barely did anything. It was 3 months." So it just kind of shows how important it is to just have like one big company on your resume, even if you've done all these great projects and added a lot of value at some of like the smaller, lesser known companies that you've worked for. So, like I said, the interview process was pretty seamless. Right after I talked with the recruiter, I was talking to the hiring manager like the next day. And then after that, I was talking to the hiring manager's manager like the next day. And it was just three individual one-on-one 30-minute phone calls. So it was pretty laid back and quick. Like it was, and kind of just a super good way to kind of like meet multiple people in the company very quickly without having to like talk to all of them at the same time. So I really did enjoy that aspect of it. They just kind of ask, simple questions like, "Hey man, tell me about this project," or "Tell me how you feel about this. Tell me about a time when this," those kind of like standard behavioral questions, and then as well as some technical questions too, just like simple industrial engineer things. Like how would you increase capacity? How did you analyze this? Those kind of simple questions that you should just always be able to answer in an interview whenever you have experience. So I have been invited to do an on-site interview, but I will say this position is in California, in Los Angeles, and I'm a Southern guy, so it's not super appealing for me to just like pack up and move everything out there, especially because of the pay. The level one pay is like 100 to 115, and the level two pay is like 115 to 120 to 135 maybe, and it just doesn't make sense to do that if I'm making like 83K now in like Louisiana. That almost converts to like 135,000 in Los Angeles, like cost of living based. So I would need that to even really consider it. And then they do offer like stock options, not offer it, but like they just give you an extra 20% of it every year in stock options. So that does kind of offset it. But you can't pay $3,000 a month or rent Los Angeles apartments, with stock options. So that would definitely have to be a big trade off. But I would be excited to like go on site and do an interview and kind of see what the culture is like before kind of like making any super harsh decisions. The main thing that's kind of alluring to me is that I kind of feel like I lack in my current role is like being around super smart and driven engineers that want to um, really learn and get better, and just like people who can mentor me and that I can learn from. And so that's why I think it'd be like really cool to work at a company that's like really pushing the boundaries and trying to go to Mars and really try to ramp up production at the same time. I think that is super cool. If you want some advice from me, I would say number one, try to get some early internship experience with some big companies like Lockheed Martin or these aerospace companies, even if you don't really want to work in that area, because I just feel like it's opened up the door for so many opportunities for me. And also, I'll say like your projects matter. This huge warehouse project I worked on in my current company, they literally said, "Hey, like we've never met anyone with this kind of experience. Like you're a perfect candidate." And I think that one project really just checked off all the boxes for them and made it really easy for them to say like, "Okay, this guy knows what's going on." And to just like be yourself and kind of tell your story and go into any interview that you're confident and just be confident. And anytime an opportunity comes your way, at least give it a shot and see if it's like right for you. Don't just not apply and then always wonder, what could have happened. It's like always take those chances, take the interview, and just see where things go. I'll keep you guys posted. I'll see you in the next one.